Okay then, I think good number of students have joined. It's nearly 56 now. I will start. Let the latecomers come slowly. I will start. We will not waste more time. Okay, I will share the screen. You can hear me properly? Yes, yes. And you can see my screen. I have shared the screen. Can you see my screen? Yes. Okay, fine. Today we will go to toxicology. Up to last lecture, up to yesterday's lecture, we have seen some topics from forensic medicine. We have seen signs of death, immediate signs, early signs, late signs. We have seen signs of death in forensic medicine. Now I think today we should switch to toxicology. Today we will start with new topic from toxicology. Last time we have seen arsenic poisoning. From toxicology we have seen arsenic poisoning. Lead is asked as a 20-mark question. Arsenic asked as a 20-mark question. Acute and chronic arsenic poisoning with its treatment, medical legal aspect, and all these things. It can be asked as a long 20-mark long answer question. Same thing with lead. Same thing with lead and arsenic. They can be asked as a 20-mark question. Phosphorus is not such a big topic, can be asked as a 20-mark question, but yet it has been occasionally asked as a 20-mark question, and there can be 5-mark short note. Chronic phosphorus poisoning or acute phosphorus poisoning can be asked as a 5-mark short note. Or there are also a few 2-mark questions are also there, that I will go on explaining when we will come across those points which are asked as a 2-mark question. So today we will see in detail about phosphorus poisoning. You might have heard this name. I think you might have seen in the laboratory while in 11th, 12th, or even in 8th, 9th, 10th when you studied the chemistry. You might have seen the phosphorus in chemistry laboratory. So phosphorus comes under irritants and non-metals. So phosphorus is a non-metal. This lead, arsenic, whatever we have seen up to here, they were metallic poisons. So phosphorus is a non-metal. It comes under irritant and non-metal poison. And in nature, it is present in the form of crystalline substance. It is found as white and crystalline. uh, when it is exposed to the air, when it is kept open in the air, it becomes yellow. That's why now the phosphorus is available in the nature in two forms: yellow and red phosphorus. Yellow and red phosphorus. So the phosphorus, when it is exposed to the air, because of chemical reaction or exposure to the oxygen, oxidation occur and it becomes yellow phosphorus. It is soluble in water, soluble slightly in alcohol and ether, and it is easily oxidizable. Just I told you, when it is exposed to the air, comes in contact with the oxygen, will have reaction with the oxygen and will immediately catch fire. I think you might be remembering about the physical chemical properties of phosphorus. फॉस्फरस जर असा उघडा हवेमध्ये जर असा ओपन ठेवला तुम्ही उघडा, तर तो लगेच पेट घेतो आणि जळून नष्ट होतो. इट इट इज इझिली ऑक्सिडायझेबल. देअरफॉर इट इज ऑलवेज phosphorus is kept submerged in water to prevent ignition, क्योंकि अगर उसे हवा में खुला रखा तो it will immediately catch fire, जल जाएगा वो तुरंत, and will be burnt or will disappear. So when it is exposed to the air, मतलब पानी में से बाहर निकाल के अगर उसे खुली हवा में रखा, if it is exposed to the air, it will give up the white fumes of phosphoric acid. The phosphorus will react with the oxygen and will give the fumes of phosphoric acid. They are having very characteristic strong odor of garlic. What is garlic? What is garlic? लसणासारखा वास येतो phosphorusला. So when the phosphorus is kept open in the air, it will give up the fumes of phosphoric acid and the phosphorus smells like garlic. कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक लक्षात ठेवा, हे तुम्ही प्रत्येक पॉइझन मधले एक दोन कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक फीचर लक्षात ठेवले ना, तर त्याचं तुम्ही अख्खे पिक्चर म्हणजे त्याचं सिम्टमॅटॉलॉजी, व्हॉट वी कॉल इट, सायन्स अँड सिम्टम्स, आणि बऱ्याचशा काही गोष्टी मेडिकल ॲस्पेक्ट आणि ह्या तुम्ही लिहू शकता. यू जस्ट विल हॅव टू रिमेंबर अ फ्यू कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ दॅट पर्टिक्युलर पॉयझन. सो लक्षात ठेवा, फॉस्फरस इज हॅव्हिंग characteristic smell of garlic, and it is luminous in dark. If you keep the phosphorus open in the air in a dark room, एका पूर्णपणे अंधाऱ्या खोलीमध्ये, if it is kept in the dark room, it is luminous, means it will shine. कारण तो जळेल ना, when it will come in, when it will come in contact, when the phosphorus will come in contact, when the phosphorus will come in contact with the air, it will immediately catch fire. So when it is kept in a dark room, it will luminous, it will shine. Uh, and another type, another form in which the arsenic is present in the nature is red phosphorus. Red phosphorus is inert. It is inert unless contaminated with white phosphorus. जोपर्यंत तो white phosphorus बरोबर mix होत नाही, it is absolutely inert, will be non-poisonous. It is non-luminous, means if the red phosphorus is kept open, if the red phosphorus is kept open in the air, it will not shine, it will not ignite. It is amorphous, odorless, and doesn't give up the fumes when exposed to the air. So red phosphorus doesn't give up the fumes, it doesn't catch fire, and importantly it is odorless, and the smell of the yellow phosphorus is like a strong smell of garlic, लसणासारखा वास येतो त्याला. And red phosphorus is very widely and commonly used in the manufacture of safety matches. आपली काडीपेटी, तुमच्या लक्षात असेल, काडीपेटीचा जो सरफेस असतो ना, ज्याच्यावर आपण काडी घासतो, किंवा काडीचा टिप काय म्हणतात त्याला, काडीचा गुल, जो आपण त्या रफ सरफेसवर घासतो ना, त्या सगळ्यामध्ये काय असतं, रेड फॉस्फरस. दिस रेड फॉस्फरस इज यूज्ड इन द मॅन्युफॅक्चर ऑफ सेफ्टी मॅचेस. काडीपेटीमध्ये मोठ्या प्रमाणात वापरलं जातो रेड फॉस्फरस. Now we will see the toxicological aspect. Toxicological aspect of phosphorus. Phosphorus is a protoplasmic poison. It is a protoplasmic poison. It affects cellular metabolism. It affects cellular metabolism and also causes the ischemia. The affected part will lose its blood supply and the ischemic changes will take place. And the metabolism of the cell may still go on but considerably reduced due to lack of energy. Means here we have seen it affects the cellular metabolism. Here it affects the cellular metabolism, and because of affecting the metabolism within the cell, the metabolism is so much reduced. The metabolism is so much reduced that the cell is nearly dead, but we have used the term necrobiosis. The cell is nearly dead but it is still alive. I am saying nearly dead. The metabolism within the cell may still go on but considerably low because of lack of energy. So because of the action of the phosphorus, there will be no energy for cells because the metabolism within the cell is affected. The energy that is available in the cell is very low. That's why the cell is nearly in a dead condition. The condition is called as necrobiosis. What do you mean necrosis? Necrosis, meaning of the word necrosis? Death. Yes, death of the cell. When the cells are dead, we call it as dead cells or necrosed cells. So if the cells are dead, the condition is called a necrosis. And what is biosis? Bio. What is biology? What is biology? Very simple. Living, something that is living. So what term are you using? Necro as well as bio. Matlab that cell is at the boundary of dead and living cell. So this can be asked as a 2-mark question. Necrobiosis. What is necrobiosis? It has been asked as a 2-mark question. So necrobiosis is a condition where the cell is nearly dead because of lack of energy, because of disturbed metabolism, and it occurs in phosphorus poisoning. But this much you can write, and it is commonly seen in liver cells, hepatocytes. It is prominently seen in liver cells. So phosphorus is a liver poison, or what we call it as hepatotoxic substance. Phosphorus is a hepatotoxic. Now, the question can be asked, give the example, 2 mark question. Question can be asked as, give the example, 4 examples of hepatotoxic substances. So first one, this one is the first. What we study right now is phosphorus. Another hepatotoxic poison is arsenic. Arsenic also hepatotoxic. Phosphorus is also hepatotoxic poison. And as we come across the other poisons, I will go on telling you. Can you tell me 2 examples of nephrotoxic poisons? Anyone? 2 examples of nephrotoxic substances? We have completed some of them. That's why I'm asking you. Anyone? Seniors? Nephrotoxic poison. What do you mean by, okay, what do you mean by nephrotoxic poison? माझा आवाज येतोय ना? What do ha? What do you mean by nephrotoxic? Nephro. What is nephro? Ha. So what do you mean by nephrotoxic poison? Which are harmful to the kidney. So you tell me a few examples of nephrotoxic poison, the poisons which affect the kidney. अरे बाळांनो, तुम्ही पोरांना ओके, आर्सेनिक. ओके, आर्सेनिक इज नेफ्रोटॉक्सिक पॉइजन. चालेल. अजून? व्हेरी वीक मेमरी. येस येस. येस, व्हेरी सिंपल. कार्बोल्युरिया. कार्बोल्युरिया माहित नाही का तुम्हाला? कार्बोल्युरिया. व्हॉट इज कार्बोल्युरिया? व्हॉट इज ऑक्झॅल्युरिया? व्हॉट इज ऑक्झॅल्युरिया? द ऑक्झॅलिक ऍसिडने काय होतं? किडनी डॅमेज होते. ऑक्झॅलिक ऍसिडने किडनी डॅमेज होते. ऑक्झॅलिक ऍसिडने किडनी डॅमेज होते. कार्बोलिक ऍसिडने किडनी डॅमेज होते. इट लीड्स टू द कंडिशन कॉल्ड एज कार्बोल्युरिया, oxaluria. Arsenic also damages the kidney. So all these are nephrotoxic poisons. The substances which damage the kidney are called as nephrotoxic poisons. So what are the examples? Oxalic acid, carbolic acid, arsenic. अप टू हिअर. मी आता तुम्हाला आपले जेवढे शिकून झाले तेवढीच नाव विचारतो. अजूनही बरेचसे पॉइजन्स आहेत विच आर नेफ्रोटॉक्सिक, विच आर हिपॅटोटॉक्सिक. So the topics we have completed from toxicology. I am just asking you the examples from those. So now what are the hepatotoxic poisons? Phosphorus, arsenic. Phosphorus and arsenic are hepatotoxic poison. तुम्हाला कमीत कमी 4 लिहायला लागतील when you will get the full 2 marks. So phosphorus is a protoplasmic poison. It affects the cellular metabolism causing ischemia. Then metabolism of the cell may still go on but considerably low because of lack of energy. Condition is called as necrobiosis, and it mainly affects the hepatocytes, liver cells. Then glycogen deposition is reduced and the fat deposition is increased. Means now you know liver is a main storehouse of glucose, and the glucose is stored in the liver in the form of glycogen, and whenever there is blood sugar level is low, this glycogen is mobilized and it is made available in the sugar for energy in the form of glucose. So liver works as a storehouse of glucose, and glucose is stored in the form of glycogen. But in phosphorus poisoning, what happens? This glycogen deposition is reduced and fat deposition is increased, and the condition is called as fatty liver. You might have heard the term fatty liver. The fat will get deposited in the liver. And if this phosphorus is absorbed in small amounts, if it is absorbed in small amounts, it will lead to increased bone formation under epiphyseal cartilage. Now what happens because of chronic phosphorus poisoning? Because of chronic phosphorus poisoning, there is excessive bone formation or excessive bone deposition under epiphyseal cartilage. अभी बहुत ज़्यादा बोन फॉर्म हो रहा है तो क्या होगा? नाउ यू नो देर आर ब्लड वेसल्स इन द बोन विच आर सप्लाइंग द बोन. माहिती ना, बोनला पण ब्लड वेसल्स असतात. काय म्हणतात त्याला? Anatomy. The blood vessels which is supplying the bone are called as अवघडच आहे वाटून पोरांचं. Blood vessels which are supplying the bone. अरे बोला पटापटा. न्यूट्रिटिव्ह काहीतरी. कोण सांगते? नाही. तुम्ही अनाटॉमीमध्ये लॅबमध्ये ती बोन स्टडी करताना बोनची अनाटॉमी पाहताना बोनला छोटी छोटी छिद्र असतात बघा सरफेसवर. छोटी छोटी छिद्र असतात ज्याच्यातून त्या आर्टरी आत जातात. हां, तर त्याच्यातून त्या आर्टरी आत जातात बोनसाठी. तर काय होतं? because of excessive bone formation these arteries get compressed. त्या आर्टरीला ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन होतं and there is impaired blood circulation in the bone or blood supply to the bone, and because of which the necrosis and sequestration of bone occurs. So bone gets damaged because of lack of blood, कारण त्या arteries compress. Haversian vessel म्हणतात का रे त्यांना? हं? कुठे असतं ते? आठवते का? मला आठवत नाही म्हणून मी तुम्हाला विचारतोय. फर्स्ट इयरच्या पोरांना यायलाच पाहिजे. हॅवर्सियन व्हेसल्स. बेटा हाँ बरोबर ना. सो हॅवर्सियन कॅनल आर द form a networking bone and contain blood vessels. What is the function of Haversian canal? Haversian canal are microscopic tubes or tunnels in cortical bone that house nerve fiber and a few capillaries. हां, तर ते व्हेसल जे असतात, बरोबर आहे ना माझं? मला आठवत नव्हतं ॲक्च्युली, बट आय एम करेक्ट. The arteries which are supplying the bone are called as Haversian vessels. बरोबर का? तुम्ही तर नाही शोधलं पण निदान हो तर म्हणाल की नाही? Haversian vessels, the arteries which are the Haversian vessels which are supplying the bone. So what happens because of which these arteries excessive bone formation will occur, and this excessive bone formation will compress the artery. That's why blood supply of the bone will be hampered, obstructed, and will lead to necrosis and sequestration. Sequestration means destruction of the bone. Now we will see acute phosphorus poisoning. This is all about its basic or primary information about the phosphorus, its physical and chemical properties. These are its physical and chemical properties. Then how it acts on the body, its basic pathology, that is it causes necrobiosis and causes ischemia, particularly ischemia of the bone because of compression of the Haversian vessels by excessive formation of the bone. Now we will see the signs and symptoms. On swallowing, phosphorus will act as a local irritant poison. It will cause locally irritation. So it is a local irritant action on gastrointestinal tract, and also it is having poison. It is having its poisonous effects after absorption. That is called as, so local action is on gastrointestinal tract, and what is another action after absorption? What do we call it as? See, I am just having some revision ताकि वो बहुत सारी जनरल टॉक्सिकोलॉजी में हमने जो कुछ भी टर्म्स देखे हैं, जो टॉपिक देखे हैं, वो तुम लोग भूल न जाओ, बिकॉज दे आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तुम्हें हर एक पॉइजन में उसका रेफरेंस लेना पड़ेगा. So the poison which is acting on directly on the tissue or part of the body, it is coming in contact with, that is called as local action. तो स्टमक के डायरेक्ट कांटेक्ट में आने की वजह से वो जो भी गैस्ट्रिक इरिटेशन करने वाला है, दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ लोकल एक्शन. और गैस्ट्रोइंटेस्टाइनल ट्रैक्ट में से एब्सॉर्ब होने के बाद वो दूसरी जगह पे जाने वाला है थ्रू द ब्लड, एंड इट विल गिव राइज टू दैट एक्शन. सो दैट एक्शन इज कॉल्ड एज, द एक्शन ऑफ द पॉइजन आफ्टर एब्सॉर्प्शन इज कॉल्ड एज, what are the types of action? Local and, अरे पुढचं पाठ आणि मागे सपाट. तुम्ही क्लासमध्ये माझ्या समोर पाहिजे होतं रे, तुम्हाला फटके दिले असते मी, खरंच फटके दिले असते. व्हॉट आर द टाइप्स ऑफ ऍक्शन ऑफ पॉइझन? हा, एक तर आता मी सांगितलं तुम्हाला लोकल ऍक्शन, लोकल इरिटेंट ऍक्शन ऑन गॅस्ट्रोइंटेस्टाइनल ट्रॅक्ट. हाँ, so after absorption of the poison will circulate and will go to the distant parts like liver, kidney, brain, and anywhere. So that is remote action. So it is why I am asking you, because these all are oral question. These all are oral exam question, and importantly, you should be able to explain it in detail even in theory exam, because there are some poisons which are acting only locally. There are some poisons which are having only remote action, no local action. हेलो, नमस्कार. हेलो, कोण बोलते? हाँ, मी नाही बाबा, निलेश भगत. हो, निलेश भगत. काहीतरी 7-8 पार्टनर आहेत, पुण्याचे 1-2 डॉक्टर आहेत, त्यांनी केले काहीतरी. गोसाई डॉक्टरांचं जुनं हॉस्पिटल. काय नाही, सरकारी दवाखान्यासारखंच. प्रायमरी केअर, अगदी सिरियस झालं पेशंट, व्हेंटिलेटरची गरज लागली की पुढे पाठवायचं असं. Hello, can you hear me? So, the poison phosphorus is having local action on the gastrointestinal tract as well as remote action after its absorption, and there is considerable interval between local action and remote action. Primary symptoms, that is local symptoms. The symptoms because of local action begin within 2 to 6 hours after the ingestion of phosphorus. It may be even immediate. In some cases it may be very rapid or in very few minutes, or it can be even longer than 2 to 6 hours. And these local symptoms are in the form of burning pain in throat. Patient will have burning pain in the throat, esophagus, stomach, and importantly, characteristic feature of phosphorus poisoning is patient will have garlicky taste in mouth. Lasna sarki, because it is having characteristic smell of garlic. Phosphorus is having characteristic smell of garlic. So there will be garlicky taste in the mouth, garlicky odor to the breath. Garlicky taste in the mouth and garlicky odor to the breath. And a patient will have intense thirst with eructations. Patient, because of that irritation of the phrenic nerve, patient will have eructations also. Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea is a variable feature. Nausea होईल पेशंटला, vomiting होतील भरपूर, but diarrhea is a variable feature, means will be present in some patients and may be absent in other. प्रत्येकामध्ये होईलच असं नाही. So diarrhea is a variable feature. देन वॉमिटिंग ऑफ ब्लड, गार्लिकी ओडर, जे काय उलटी होईल त्याला सुद्धा त्या फॉस्फरसमुळे देर विल बी गार्लिकी ओडर. अँड when that vomitus is kept in the dark room, it will shine because of the particles of the phosphorus, because of non absorbed phosphorus will be present in the vomitus. That's why the vomitus will be luminous in dark, म्हणजे अंधारामध्ये that will shine. And this irritative stage म्हणजे ह्या gastrointestinal tract च्या irritationची stage. So this irritative stage of gastrointestinal tract will last for 1 to 2 days, and sometimes it can be very severe to cause collapse because of dehydration, severe pain and all. So patient can go into collapse and can even die because of dehydration and shock. Now this doesn't happen. This is very rare that the death of the patient with phosphorus poisoning occurs within a few hours. That is very rare. And usual clinical course, the patient will recover. The patient will recover from this stage. So this stage of primary symptoms, or what we call it as local action on gastrointestinal tract, this primary stage will be followed by you can say amelioration. So everything, the patient will feel better. So the usual clinical course will go as further. So patient will feel better. Now the symptoms will begin because of absorbed poison, what we call it as remote action. So symptoms will be because of now remote action of the poison. So absorbed poison will give rise to now secondary symptoms. Now original symptoms will again return, that is garlicky taste in mouth, vomiting, pain in abdomen, burning. These symptoms will come again now because of involvement of liver, because of involvement of the its action on necrobiosis and damage to the hepatocytes or functioning liver cells. Patient will develop jaundice. What do you mean by jaundice? अरे बोला पटापटा, what is jaundice? No one? What is jaundice? Anyone? Archana. Increased bilirubin. Increased bilirubin in the blood. So it will be manifested by what? Simple. I am asking very simple question. How it is manifested clinically? तुम्ही कुठल्या कंडिशनला जॉन्डिस म्हणाल? बिलिरुबिन वगैरे बाजूला राहिलं. The which condition you will call it as jaundice? Yellow discoloration. Yes, yellow discoloration of skin and mucous lining. So conjunctiva will appear yellow, tongue will appear yellow, skin will appear yellow. So yellow discoloration of skin and mucous membrane is called as jaundice. Very simple. So, and why it is? Increase bilirubin. And why increase bilirubin? Because damage to the liver. Now you know the important function. Whenever the liver is damaged, the person is going to manifest as or the symptoms of signs and symptoms of jaundice will be present. So jaundice with abdominal distension and all these things because of affection of the liver cells, because phosphorus is a liver poison, what we call it as hepatotoxic. So phosphorus is a hepatotoxic substance because of which the jaundice will be there, and there will be fatty degeneration of the liver. Large amount of fat will get accumulated, glycogen will be depleted, there will be depletion of the glycogen, and large amount of fat will get accumulated in the liver, what we call it as fatty degeneration of the liver. And it is because of necrobiosis. Liver will be enlarged in the initial stage. Liver will be enlarged. Later on it will undergo shrinkage. Shrinkage, हळूहळू त्याचा आकार कमी कमी होत जाईल. That is because of fibrosis. And the condition is called as acute yellow atrophy of the liver. Acute yellow atrophy of the liver. Then there can be purpura and epistaxis. Purpura and what do you mean by purpura? बोला पटापटा, वेळ नका घालू. What is purpura? Hmm? What is purpura? अरे very simple. I am asking the question from first year. What is purpura? अरे पोरं बोला की जरा, सगळं पोरीच उत्तर देतात. पर्पल. रॅश. अरे बापरे. सापडलं का कोणाला उत्तर? एवढ्या वेळात कोणीतरी सापडून शोधून यायला पाहिजे होतं. बिकॉज ऑफ बिकॉज ऑफ internal. So purpura is spotty or patchy hemorrhage. Patchy hemorrhage either on skin or on the mucous lining. There will be appearance of spots, असे bleeding चे spots दिसतात. That is purpura. What is epistaxis? What is epistaxis? I am asking very simple first year terms. What is epistaxis? एकालाही नाही येत. What is epistaxis? आता तुम्हाला काही पनिशमेंट द्यायला पाहिजे. Anyone? Bleeding from nose. Very simple. Bleeding from nose is called as epistaxis. Now why it is? You just read that line. Purpura and epistaxis due to thrombocytopenia. What is thrombocytopenia? Low platelets or low thrombocyte count. When the platelet count is low, patient will develop the manifestations like purpura, that is spotty hemorrhage on the skin, or spotty hemorrhage on mucous lining like conjunctiva, or even on the gastrointestinal tract also. So there will be patchy or spotty hemorrhage will be there. And epistaxis is bleeding from the nose. What is the function of thrombocytes? प्लेटलेटचं काम काय असतं? व्हॉट इज फंक्शन ऑफ थ्रोम्बोसाइट्स और प्लेटलेट्स? बोला पटापटा. Yes, clotting of the blood. So when there will be thrombocytopenia, ultimately bleeding will this clotting mechanism will be hampered, and person will develop manifestations of bleeding like epistaxis and purpura. Then urine will be scanty because this absorbed poison, this absorbed phosphorus will affect the kidney. It will affect the kidney, and there will be less secretion of the urine. Then the urine will be more concentrated and it will contain blood, albumin, bile, sugar, tyrosine, leucine, cysteine, because of disturbed metabolism that is going on in the liver. So all over the body the metabolism will be hampered, and that's why so many things will be excreted via urine. Now blood, albumin, they are normally not present. Blood and albumin are normally not present in the urine, bile, sugar and all. What is tyrosine, leucine, cysteine? Have you heard this term before? This you might have heard it in metabolism chapter in first year. Yes, these are amino acids. Which amino acids? Tyrosine, cysteine, leucine. Essential, semi essential or non essential? Tyrosine, leucine, cysteine, these are examples of essential, semi-essential or non-essential amino acids. Hmm? These are essential amino acids. These are essential amino acids. They should be supplied to the diet. They are normally not present in the urine, but in this condition where essential, not non-essential, they are essential amino acids. How many essential amino acids are there? Total? जाऊ दे, फारच अवघड जायला लागला आता. Okay, it will affect the nervous system as well. So we are discussing the remote action. We are discussing the remote action of the poison. So remote action will be on liver, causing jaundice, abdominal distension, then fatty degeneration of the liver. Then liver is enlarged and later on it will undergo shrinkage. Then purpura and epistaxis because of thrombocytopenia, and urine will be scanty, that is the function of the kidney will also be suppressed, urine secretion will be less, with good amount of blood, albumin, bile, sugar and essential amino acids like tyrosine, leucine, cysteine will also be excreted via urine. So the amino acids which are not manufactured in the body, the amino acids which are not manufactured in the body and they should be supplied through the diet are called as essential amino acids. Non-essential amino acids, they are secreted by our body, that's why they need not to be supplied through the diet. And semi-essential, some part is secreted by the body and some part should be supplied from the diet, they are semi-essential. So these this tyrosine, leucine, cysteine, these are examples of. Okay, you can hear me? I had got disconnected for a few seconds. You did hear? Yes, yes, yes. I had lost the connection for a few seconds. Okay, I'm back now. So these essential amino acids, yes, 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 yes. I had a few. Now also, now is it okay? So it is okay. Yes, it is okay now, I think. Okay, and you can see the screen also. Yes, I have shared the screen. You can see the screen. Okay, so what are the essential amino acids? Three I have mentioned here: tyrosine, leucine, cysteine. There are totally nine essential amino acids are there. Okay, I will not go in detail with that. Those, leucine, isoleucine, valine, tryptophan, tyrosine, um, um, tryptophan, lysine, isoleucine, valine, methionine, uh, tryptophan, phenylalanine, and lysine. These are the overall 8 essential amino acids which should be supplied through the diet, which are not manufactured in the body. So this just I wanted to tell you something about those essential amino acids. Now next thing it can cause is abortion. Chronic phosphorus poison acting on the blood vessels of the uterus, it can cause abortion. And acting on the brain, acting on the central nervous system, it will be manifested as frontal pain. Patient will have severe headache, insomnia, that is lack of sleep, ringing sounds in the ears, impaired vision because of impaired blood supply, and cramps, and will be followed by paralysis. Patient will have uremia. What is uremia? Increased blood urea level. What is the normal blood urea level? What is normal blood urea level? What is normal blood urea level? Now also, now can you hear properly? Okay, okay. What is uremia? What is uremia? Increased blood urea level. What is the normal blood urea level? No, no. What is normal blood urea level? Urea is excreted via urea is excreted via urine. Normally it is a normal constituent of urine. No, urea, creatinine, these are normal constituents of the urine. So when the blood urea level is high, when the kidney is not functioning properly and urea is not excreted via urine, the blood urea level rises and the condition is called as uremia. So what is the normal blood urea level? Normal blood urea level, it is 25 to 40 milligram per dl, 25 to 40, and when it goes beyond 40, maybe 50, 60, or in some acute renal failure, it can be even more than 100, 150 like that. So the condition is called as uremia, and it will lead to nervous complications, what we call it as uremic coma. The patient will go into delirium, patient can become unconscious and can die. And because of this multi-system breakdown, now this thing we can call it as multi-system breakdown that has been caused by the phosphorus. So phosphorus will cause bleeding disorder, phosphorus will affect the liver, phosphorus will affect the kidney, phosphorus will affect the central nervous system, and because of these damages. Yes, yes. You can see the screen. You can see the screen. Now is it better than previous? Uh, okay, okay. Today we'll stop here. There are some network issues. We'll stop here today. Is it okay? आता येतोय का आवाज? आता येतोय का आवाज? I think when I continue the lecture, the sound breaks, and when I say आता आपण इथे थांबू, then sound is okay, I think. Is it like that? बरं आता okay, okay, we'll stop here. We'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. Okay? ओके ओके विल स्टॉप हिअर. आय विल एंड द मीटिंग फॉर ऑल. हां, हे आलं ना ऐकू आता? आलं का? हां, बरोबर, बरोबर. मला माहिती आहे ना. ओके, 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 ओके. इट्स ओके. विल स्टॉप हिअर. आय विल एंड द मीटिंग फॉर ऑल. ओके, टुमॉरो at 3 p.m. At 3 p.m. sharp. Okay, okay. See you.